Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Beat Invaders, a roguelike, music-driven space shooter. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Rafael Pica, Beat Invaders released to PC via Steam in March of 2022. Now, this is a title that I've enjoyed my time with, and I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Space Invaders and you're looking for a game to just relax and chill with. So it has a wonderful soundtrack that's really easy to just relax and chill to, as well as some fun roguelike mechanics and a really, well, if you enjoy the neon color palette, a really enjoyable color palette and visual look to it. So this is a title that I would recommend, especially given its great price point. Diving into the gameplay itself, so we find ourselves at the start menu here, and here there are a couple options that we could potentially look at. The ship upgrades is one of the big draws that this game has, and we'll get to that momentarily, but first we'll do a quick run through the game before we dive into that side of things. When you select Start Game, we're taken to this menu here, which initially allows you to select between two difficulty selections, Easy and Normal, and then Hyper Mode will unlock after you've played through a round. Once you've selected your difficulty, then you also select your ship. The first time you play through the game, you'll only have the Pulse Blaster available. As you accrue points, you'll unlock first the Spreadshot, and then finally the Railgun. So one thing I do want to say, I absolutely love the design of these ships. I think they're beautiful, great to look at, and, well, they're a lot of fun to play as well. So we're going to start with the base ship, the Pulse Blaster. This is basically your high rate of fire laser with a piercing upgrade type ship. And here we find ourselves diving into Beat Invaders. So as you can see here, the game has a very Space Invaders inspired look to it, but there are some really unique elements to it. First off, we're protecting this convoy that's delivering beats to the galaxy. So there's those four ships in front of you that in a way kind of act as your lives. If those four ships are defeated, then it's game over. However, we do also have HP highlighted in the bottom left. So initially, we only have a single shot. This is the way you'll start the game. As we destroy enemies, we accrue points, and as long as you destroy the enemies in time before the combo meter, which is basically that score representation on the screen, fades, then you'll continue your combo, accruing a higher score. And the score for that particular combo is the value that's displayed there. Really neat. But here's where the true meat of this game is. After you finish a round, there are certain enemies that you can destroy that will give you upgrade tokens. And we can spend those tokens to upgrade various abilities on our ships in a roguelike fashion. So these are going to be random, they're not always going to be the same. So we have 6 tokens right now. So we're going to take everything that's here. We're going to upgrade fire rate, we're going to upgrade laser speed, and we're going to upgrade our pierce. So now we can fire significantly faster, and the laser will pierce through enemies, dealing damage to those that are behind the front, allowing us to much more quickly both rack up our multiplier and complete the wave. So we're able to sweep through there, but now you notice we didn't get as many upgrade tokens in that particular round, so even though we have 3 options here, we can't afford each. So do we upgrade the laser with, or do we just go with skip and move on to another round hoping to get more tokens? So at this point, I'm just going to choose skip. And as we move through, things get progressively more difficult as far as the enemy wave compositions and the amount of damage that they're dishing out to both our ships in front of us as well as ourselves. You'll note there that one of the convoy ships already has klaxon going off. That basically means it's on its last lives, as it were. A few more shots and that ship's probably going down. We could go and select the shield repair to repair the ship, but we're going to be a little bit greedy, go with ship speed, laser width, and skip. So one thing that this game does have is it has friendly fire. You can be the one that deals the damage to your convoy ships and ultimately destroys them. So that's something that you have to be careful as you do move behind those ships as you're moving left and right. That adds a strategic element of when to ultimately fire your enemies, and for these enemy ships that lock onto your location and fire shots at you, you also have to be careful when those ships fire, as you don't want them to hit one of your convoy ships in the progress of hitting you. So 2 of our convoy ships are down. I don't think we're doing so hot this round. Oops. So we're down to our last ship. Hey, wave complete though. So while all this is going on, we also have a great background soundtrack running with some really neat equalizer effects on the screen itself. So in that case, we lost all of our convoy ships, but that's partially due to me wanting to show you some of the game elements that are present here. So those tokens that we've been collecting, you can spend on a run, but your total is also added for the upgrade menu that you can access the ship upgrades from the main screen. And here we can do things like get an evasive dash or get some upgraded missiles. We can also get a token magnet as an upgrade option, attack pods to add additional attack. We can add more health to our ship. We can go and increase, so it's possible to get some power-ups, a hyper beam, also an attack boost. We can increase the length of that, but we can also do a fair bit to increase the power of our convoy as well. So for that, I think let's spend some of our hard-earned tokens to upgrade all of that. Actually, I've had quite a few of these upgraded before, but it is possible to refund and basically change up what you have your tokens spread into. So now that we've upgraded our convoy a bit and our own ship, we can head back to the main menu and we'll start the game, but this time we'll show off a different ship, and we'll also increase the difficulty from easy to normal. So what that does is it changes the speed. It also adds some additional tracks to the gameplay. So this game has a total of 22 songs in its track list, but when you're playing on easy mode, it only has a limited number of those available, as that's supposed to be your more chill mode to play the game in. So with things being a little bit more frantic in the normal difficulty, we have the full track list available. So here we're going to try the Spreadshot. This ship is rather nice. It does have higher HP, but it is slower overall. So ship speed upgrades are actually going to be very important with this ship. So you'll note we do have a couple shots that are provided by gun pods to the left and the right, and not only that, we're also firing homing missiles that do a really good job of taking out the enemies in the waves. So already we're doing really great, even if we didn't pick up any upgrade tokens there. You can also see that the convoy ships are shielded, so even if they take hits, they won't initially take damage, and we can survive quite a bit longer. In addition to that, we also have other environmental elements added. There's drones that if we destroy all the drones in a linked set, we will get this salvo of homing missiles against the enemy, and there's also meteors that can or meteoroids that can come on the screen trying to destroy both us and the convoy ships, and there's also this cargo ship that can show up. So in this particular upgrade, each ship has its own unique upgrade. So for the Railgun, it's the charge speed, for the Pulse Blaster, it's the piercing, and for the Spreadshot, it's the salvo spread. So we can increase the overall spread of the salvo. There's also the number of shots. So right now our spread is only 2 shots. We can upgrade that quite substantially. For this one, let's upgrade our gun pods. We also picked up at the end of that wave a hyper beam. As you can see there, that does wonders at quickly taking out the enemy. So one thing about having a slower ship is it's a little bit harder to get to the other side of the wave for us to deal with enemies. Oh, meteoroids incoming. So every like 5th wave, we'll encounter these bonus stage like scenarios where we've got meteoroids coming at us or drones. It helps break up the gameplay, and if we can perform well, we'll get a lot of bonuses on it. Unfortunately, I was not able to do a great job on it, so we just passed the event rather than aced it. Thanks to the upgrades on our ships, our convoy ships, they're still going strong. However, we ourselves have taken a fair bit of damage, so I do have to be careful to keep this run alive. Didn't quite make it, but that's alright. So here we could add in a high score and put ourselves on the high score track, but we're not going to worry about that. So let's jump back to the main menu one last time so we can start up the game with the final ship we haven't looked at, the Railgun. So the Railgun is like a really powerful ship, but it's trickier to use because you have only 2 hits of damage. So this one we can charge up our railgun to use between rounds. However, one thing that is important to note is that it takes a second to fire, and you're putting yourself directly in the enemy path to fire that shot, thus making it easier for you to take damage. With only 2 points of HP, the ship can definitely go down quickly if we're not careful. However, though this was the last ship to unlock, I've had a lot of fun with this one, as because it will eat all the way through an entire like line of the enemy formation. It's just really fun to use. And that's basically Beat Invaders served up for your enjoyment. Awesome Space Invaders inspired fun with a wonderful soundtrack, great visuals, and roguelike elements present throughout the course of gameplay. There's that transport ship that I was mentioning before. So we got the upgrade, which is actually kind of dangerous when using the railgun, as it basically turns the railgun into a rapid fire shot, which means you're dealing damage to the convoy ships. So as far as the minus flavors are concerned, it would be nice to see just a little bit more variety to the upgrades that you could potentially get. So it's mainly ones that are changing your shot, or rather upgrading fire rate, repairing, getting the token magnet. But it would have been really neat if there were other kinds of items or options available to your gameplay. Just for the fun of it. And that's not really, honestly that's less of a complaint and more just one of those things that I would like to see in the game itself. But along what I would like to go and see, so this is a game that so far with the time I've spent with it, I've just enjoyed the kind of just that chill, relaxing atmosphere of playing Space Invaders like title, so gameplay that we're quite familiar with, but with some new elements. So the awesome like visuals, the great soundtrack. So it would be really wonderful if there was just like this really relaxing, chill, basically endless mode where you could just like play through without really worrying about like waves or spiking difficulty, just enjoying what the game has to offer, I guess. But as far as the plus flavors are concerned, so I really like the roguelike elements that this gameplay has, even if I wish there were a few more options as to the kind of upgrades that could show up between waves. I think it's pretty neat to have this upgrade, and so it would have just been like neat to see some maybe other like even potentially like off the wall kind of like upgrades could be like really fun. And then having the 3 different ships really helps this kind of game, as each one has a different type of gameplay, and mastering rather unlocking the ships and then mastering gameplay with them is where a lot of the joy in this kind of a title comes, in my opinion. That was totally our bad, like friendly fire for one of the convoy ships. And then lastly, my biggest plus flavor on this one, the thing that I enjoy the most about it, is just that like chill vibe that I was talking about earlier. I really like what the gameplay offers. Just that kind of like relaxing fun and score attacking element as well. So I do actually quite like the way that this game like handles its score, where it's all about like building up like more and more multiplier and just getting like insane points from doing so. I was actually kind of lucky for us. The meteoroids were falling through the enemy transport ship. Really great way to get some good points. So there we have it. Beat Invaders served up for your enjoyment. Definitely one recommended for me. Alright, well, that'll just about wrap it up for this week. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I hope you yourself have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.